say, well, what does this mean? So I went through and made everybody, and Luann, if you wouldn't mind passing these out, a list of what animals are and what they mean. And there's probably some that are missing because it's pretty difficult to have. How many pages do I have? I've got a lot of pages
12.
here. 12 pages, and they're all animals.
Thank you.
And they talk about some of the major things that
Well, you got them all here.
Thank you.
that of animals, and so it's fun, and so you can take it home and keep it. And then we have the Native American totem animals, because you hear about that a lot.
Oh, mine's a crow.
And well, a crow is the keeper of the sacred law.
I bet you are.
And anything sparkly.
And anything sparkly. Yeah, so there you are.
Ever since I was a little tiger, my mom said, "You are a crow."
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I am.
And
my mom called
and
it Jaybird.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So, now, Corky, if you want to hand these out, and we're going to go through these, but I might as well just hand them out to you.
Luann's got it.
I've never seen such a complete list.
I like standing up.
And you notice it
Sit
was
all day.
hand tied.
So tight.
You know,
Yeah.
woohoo! Look at that go. I've taught this class before. And this is all about invoking animal medicine powers. There we go.
Impressive.
Every one of you at some time, I'm sure, has felt an animal's energy.
Thank you.
And what the white piece of paper is talking about.
The white piece of paper?
Purple.
No, white. Where'd the white
No.
one go? There's a
Purple and
well,
yellow.
well then,
She wants to talk about the one we haven't received yet.
yeah. Sorry. What's the purple one say on it?
It says, getting in touch with our power animals.
Yeah,
and
it's
local-"
purple. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. I just saw it as white.
I tried that.
And what happens is there are animals and types of animals that everybody has connected with. Now, it doesn't mean that it's always positive. There's a lot of people that have connected with black widows. And you say black widows, and they immediately go into a panic. And how about snakes? There's people who you say snakes, and they go into abject fear. They are so think about that. That's your shadow animal. You've got a power animal, but the shadow animal is the animal that's there to tell you about fear, anger, frustration, disappointment. And those are the animals that make you aware that everything in the animal kingdom you don't see as positive. Now, for me, when I was growing up, I lived in the desert, and we used to take tarantulas and make little carts for them to pull and have tarantula races. And scorpions were
How'd you
fun.
attach it to them?
A thread and a spool.
Oh.
And we put it on, and we just attach them, and they'd run, and we'd have different colored.
Oh, I can just tell 6 legs go,
Yeah. And I mean, and you mentioned tarantula, and she goes, ballistic.
Yeah.
But the same with snakes. We lived over a bunch of rattlesnakes. They were sidewinders, and my grandfather always said, "Walk heavy." They're more scared of you than you are them.
Oh, God.
And so all of these things that other people were so scared of. And then one day I went away to college, and my friends and I rented an apartment in this old part of LA. And I came out one morning, and there were bugs running around in the kitchen. And I screamed. I have never been scared of anything in my life. Is these quick-moving, just mean-looking things, And I called my mom, because I was 80 miles away, and said, "Mom, they've got these bugs, and I've never seen anything, and you can't kill them, and they run fast." And she said, "Oh, Dottie, those are cockroaches." Well, you don't have cockroaches in the desert. And it was like, oh. And I realized that's the first time I ever disliked an animal.
Wow.
Was it going to hurt me? No. Just something. And so I've done a lot of research on where was I living at that time, and it was somewhere in Europe. And I was very poor, and we had a lot of roaches running around, and I just couldn't handle it. But what did I learn from it? I learned to look at myself about what is it that bothers me so much about this bug, or what is it that bothers Corky about spiders, or what is it that bothers,
They bite you
What
when you're
is it?
asleep.
Well, it teaches you how to deal with things that you don't like. You may never become comfortable with them, but you find out how to not be afraid. And so that's how it's a shadow animal.
kill 'em.
Yes.
Are
That's how you get-
cockroaches one of the oldest creatures?
Yeah, they've been around forever.
Since
Yeah.
the dinosaur.
And those cockroaches only come out at night because they come in my garage, and when my cats are in there,
Oh, the big
and I
water
put on,
ones?
they're about so big,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, they're very
turn on the light, and they're all over the place, and I try
Well,
to.
the cats must love that.
No, well, then there's ants in the house. I'm dealing with the two
Oh.
issues. But anyway, but only at
Cinnamon.
night now.
Yeah, that's normal for those water bitches.
Ants use
You don't see them
cinnamon.
all day, but boy, at night
Right, the
they're like
cinnamon works with
coming up the driveway.
It confuses the heck out of them.
Yeah.
That and aspartame and sucralose, they won't cross
That's
the
good to
path.
know.
Aspartame.
Aspartame, if you take your equal, it's the only good use to use those things for.
I understand.
If you sprinkle and you'll watch an ant head to sugar, but you'll watch an ant go all the way around.
The
It won't go near-
neurotoxin probably.
It won't go near 'em.
What is aspartame?
Blue
Neurotoxin.
stuff. It's
Ant
a
poison.
neurotoxin.
It's in everything you eat.
Not
sugar-wise.
everything.
A
If
lot
it's
of
sugar
things.
free.
They go around it, but it doesn't deter them because I've been using vinegar and lemon juice, and that doesn't do anything.
But they
Cinnamon.
won't cross if you like have a doorway that they're going across. If you sprinkle the stuff, they won't cross it.
They also don't like bleach.
No, but I don't like bleach either. I don't have bleach in my house.
No, they also-
Well, bleach does kind of ruin things. You know, if you put it on the floor, you could just.
It's also a toxin, and you don't want to breathe it.
No. But anyway, looking at what are your shadow animals, and what are those animals that you want to emulate? What are those animals that you see? I think anybody, if they watch a hawk or they watch an eagle, there is a sense of freedom and a sense of beauty that is incredible. And you take home that energy after you watch it. When we were in Alaska, and they had a raptor center, and you could go and you could watch all of these. They took in eagles that were hurt and hawks that were hurt, and they rehabilitated them, and you could go watch them learn how to fly again and then soar. And we saw condors. I mean, these were just, it takes your breath away. But there's other animals everybody has. Now, just what happened that we had somebody donate a bunch of stuffed animals to the center for the 8th retreat. And so I brought them, and we have a wonderful giraffe, and we have bunnies, and we have an angel bear, and we have a panda, and an Eeyore, and a kitty cat, and a penguin, and I mean all of these things, because we as human beings like to have that energy of animals. And for centuries there have been a connection between animals and humans. And quite often we try and emulate the most positive and the most powerful parts of these animals. And when you think of that, which animal have you all your life really appreciated? Some it's the canine family, and they like all the dogs. And quite often people who like dogs also like wolves and also like coyotes and like that. And then you have the felines, people that they like kitty cats. I don't care if they're little kitty cats or big kitty cats. And I have people that I just fall in love with panthers and pumas. What was the cat that came and sat in your lap?
Cougar.
Cougar. Yeah, and you would sit there, and it would just walk around and come sit in your lap.
Right, but you had to have your back to it, and it would come up behind you. And when you could hear this, and it's like, you know, my whole body was just kept like, why are you still sitting here? You know, my hair was standing up, and my I was everything in my body was saying, run, 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 and it just came around, and then it sat on my lap, and I petted
It doesn't like to be looked at. You said you couldn't look
No,
at
it was just, I don't know, it was a female, and it lived up in where its habitat was up, and then it would come around, and then down a thing, and then if you were sitting there, it would come around, and then it would sit in your lap.
Can you hold it, or you just let it sit?
Or you just let it sit, you could pet it, and its fur was so, because it had an undercut, it's like you couldn't get to the skin,
Yeah,
because it
it's
had
a
that
dense
Undercoat?
Thick.
Thick?
Yeah, undercoat that was just so thick,
So
yeah.
vital.
And then it was just fascinating. I could have sat there all day. competitive.
Where did
but
you experience that?
at
Isis Oasis.
Isis Oasis in Healdsburg,
No,
Oh,
Hillsburg,
in Geyserville.
Geyserville,
oh, okay,
and it's a menagerie.
okay.
They have llamas and llamas and
Lions and tigers and bears and
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
and turkeys and all kinds of exotic birds and
Buffalo,
cats, and
yeah.
they had servals.
Short tail. Cougars? Oh, no, that's a bobcat.
Yes, bobcat.
It was interesting. We said, well, what do you feed all these animals? And they said, Ralston menagerie mix.
Yeah,
Menagerie mix.
Chow.
Yeah, that's what they menagerie chow. Ralston
Puppy
menagerie
chow.
chow. Yeah, yeah. But it was it
Menagerie
was
food.
very, very interesting. A place you can go up and stay. And they
Isis
rent,
Oasis.
The Isis Oasis. They rent rooms and they rent yurts and they rent cabins and they rent tents, and it's just kind of a.
Teepees
And they have.
Neat.
and geodesic don't
Geodesic.
sided things, and they have casket, not caskets
casket.
Wine casks that you can stay in.
that you could stay in.
A white cast?
Yeah,
Wine in it?
No. But anyway, but you go there, and when you're able to touch and able to be right there, it becomes aware to you what animals you really want to identify with, or you really prefer. There's so much there that feels good. So yes, Michael.
I tell you, when I was going through cancer, the black widow was one of the, because I would do intervision, the cockroach, and these were animals I would, I'd much rather have a giraffe or, a wolf. But going through the disease I realized the qualities of the black widow, holding the poison and being able to survive. The
with the chemo.
cockroach, was another intervision animal that came to me, and I said, well, gosh, how old are these animals? And they're survivors. And so I began to take on or understand some of the traits of some of the intervision work that was happening for me as I was going through chemo.
When it came to you, are we talking through meditation?
Yeah. And that's when you invoke the spirit. You meditate.
Yeah.
We're going to do a meditation,
What she said.
and we're going to work on that and how to invoke the spirit of an animal, and so you can actually feel it. And one of the things that happened is I fell in love with totem poles. I don't know how many of you have ever just been. And when we went up to Ketchikan, I knew that we were going to be going where there were totem poles. So I wrote to Princess Cruise Line, and I said, I'd like to give a talk on you are a walking totem pole, meaning you have all of the energy of auras, and you have the animals that are part of you. And so they said, okay. So I got to have the main ballroom where I did a lecture on that, and I got to upgrade it to a suite and all sorts of things to do a talk.
Oh, nice.
Like one of those things of how do you get to do things, you ask, And when I was there, I just absolutely fell in love with totem poles and a woman who does these. And while I'm talking, I'm going to pass these around because you can see the pictures, and I'll just take one and then just keep passing them around, and you'll see that is a stylized look of various Indian tribes of how they do with the totem poles. And when you look at that stylization, you'll go, I've seen that before, but you didn't know that was, they get that from, for the totem poles, it's a stylization of what it looks like, and it's all over the Northwest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any difference whether what tribe it is. There's the house. These wonderful house poles are excellent, and as you look at them, you start identifying with the tribe, and that's one of the things that the Native Americans have is they have tribes that are based on different animals, and those animals, they feel that being that tribe, whether it's the bear tribe or the deer tribe or the whatever tribe, a lot of eagle tribes, but you take on the qualities of those animals, and that's why they are what they do. Is this is a calling card. When you're walking from, you could have been a hunter, you could have been another a tribal member, and you're walking along and you see a totem pole, it says to you, these are our tribes, these are what we believe in. This was because, remember, this was a time when there wasn't any writing. And so the totem poles were saying,
History.
that's their history. This is what we believe in, and you got so you could look at them and see that it says we were at war at one time. We had somebody killed a bear. Somebody went out hunting and came back with a whale. I mean, there were so many wonderful things that I just fell in love with the totem poles and the fact that we as human beings could tell by looking at that type of simplification of the animal, the qualities of the animal. And then those qualities are what we took on. And they talk about the good swimmers, the people who they follow the wonderful porcupine who can swim when most people don't know that. They think, well, it must be a beaver. No, porcupines can swim. Beavers can swim. All of these animals that weren't fish, but they could swim. And so they would take on, would take on that quality because they were living next to the coast. And so that's what they did. And somebody said, well, they worshiped. No, they didn't worship. They admired and brought into their days that energy. And just like in Africa, where they would bring in the heart of the lion, or they'd bring in the memory of the elephant, or they would invoke this. And we've been doing this since mankind first started. We've been invoking the wonderful, wonderful ideas of the different animals. So the thing that happened when I started getting really into the medicine cards and the medicine was that when they call upon a particular animal spirit, it is to fill them with empowering energies. We started out talking about the shadow animals. Well, the empowering animals are so great. And there are animals that everybody seems to admire, even though there were farmers who didn't like wolves, because they would take their sheep or they would take their whatever, especially at the time when the bison was so popular and the wolves were really competing with them, that they felt, oh, the wolves, but they always admired them because wolves mate for life. And then, mankind was watching this, and the the female wolf is the head of the tribe. There was so much that was unique that they watched, and they started to emulate. And the same thing is true of when we were talking about crow. Crow is always around. When you're in the Midwest, you can see crows everywhere, and they're always talking about something. And the ravens and these animals that are so interesting because they feel like they're messengers. They're giving you information. You might not understand, but you can follow that sense of energy they have and kind of connect with them. I like fox. I don't know. Fox is one of those that just...
You ever run into one in the wild?
Yes.
And
They
it's
look
so rare.
bright.
I know.
They are just like... They're very curious. They want to look at you, but they're not going to get too close. But they're amazing. We happened to see a fox at Heathrow Airport in England.
That's amazing.
It was out in the middle when we went
I
there.
was out at Sunnyvale at the water flats out there on a run, and I ran into one. I mean,
Yeah.
what was he doing out there?
I know, but they just look at you like, "Hi, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And who are you? And what are you doing?" And
if you stand still a long time, they'll come up and smell
Well, I
you.
was running, and
They're
so
curious
he
as hell.
started
Real
going
curious.
one way, and I started going the other.
Now, is there a significance like the example Mike just gave with that animal, or even me with my ants, or you with whatever it is? I mean, are they here sent to give us a message? Or
they're here.
to
They're
tell us?
messengers. They're all messengers. And like on this lavender piece of paper, it talks about Sister Eagle. The eagle doesn't get lost because she flies higher and she knows where she is at all times. Well, that's kind of a message to us, isn't it?
Boy, I envy that.
Yeah, that ability to get above and beyond so you don't get lost, and so that you can fly higher and see and have clarity over long distances. There's so many things that are part of that animal, and that's why, as I said, I typed up this totem animals, and because there are so many out there that you don't even think of, and then you read about them and you go, oh, yeah.
I had an experience once. I was at Steinhardt Aquarium, and they had a manatee. And I made eye contact with that manatee, and he couldn't budge me from there. I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah, we did the same thing in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and there was where the ocean came in, and all of a sudden there was this big form out there, and we went out and looked, and it was a manatee, and it was that same feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah, over at the in Santa Cruz too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wasn't
I
it?
don't think that was a manatee, but anyway.
Probably not.
Do you hear something now Monterey though?
Yeah,
A
but they were just, I mean, they're so big,
Are
and
they
that's,
warm water animals?
no.
Ocean?
No, they're ocean.
Just
Yeah,
ocean?
aquarium.
I actually saw a manatee last month and I photographed it. But you know, it's from a distance. They're pretty known to the Caribbean and Florida. So
Right, they are amazing.
They're not out
And
there.
they are why they thought there were mermaids. Because a manatee is quite a bit above the water, and when a manatee is nursing its young, it has breasts.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Maybe it was Key West.
Now,
Great,
that's
Whiskey West.
the first time I've ever heard an explanation for.
For mermaids, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that
That is
interesting?
The whole being an ugly mermaid.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that you never heard anyone say that they, well, I guess they do say they're beautiful.
Well, and these are guys that have been in the sea
For a long time.
What happened to the cat? I don't see the word cat on this. Yeah, dog.
Yeah, there's a cat.
There's a
Yeah,
cat.
cheetah and cougar and
Yeah, well, all sorts of
Very
different kind of
intense.
kitties.
not the house cat, but they have cheetah and cougar. And,
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
No,
down
cat
You're
is
right,
on
you're
page
right.
2.
Yeah,
On
that's
the very bottom of page 2.
bottom,
You're right,
fullness,
thank you.
sensuality.
You're right.
The deeply psychic and spiritual nature.
Yeah.
Cat is invoked for independence and the ability to go one's own way and yet find comfort and love. Cat's medicine powers also include grace, understanding, mystery, cleansing, and purification.
See,
Understanding.
I found
Understanding
with
mystery.
the cats that I have that I actually can get my angel to talk to their angel through a mental process, and then the
Good.
cat sort of comes around.
Good.
That's-
Yeah,
that's interesting.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, that is,
I
that
didn't
is great.
see it.
Okay, so I have many stories about animals, but my first one happened when I was 7, and I mentioned this, I think, at church. My mom came in one day and said, "Dottie, it's time to go to school." And I said, "I am just too tired. I was out all night." And she looks at
How old were you?
I was in 2nd grade.
What do you mean you were out all night?
That's what Mother wanted to know. What were you doing out all night? And I said, "Oh, well, the coyote mother had pups, and she came and got me and took me to look at the pups." Mom said, "You did what?" I said, "I went with the coyote and went and saw her pups, and she came and talked to me." She says, "Dottie, you were in bed all night." And I said, "No." She said, "How did you get out of the room?" And I said, "Through the window." Now, the window didn't open, so that made it a little more interesting. And she said, "And then what happened?" And I said, "Well, the mama coyote took me, and she, she had 3 pups, but only 2 lived. And the other one, the third one, it died, so she ate it, and it really made good milk for her." My mother's looking at me like, "Where does she get these things?" And she said, "Really? Where was the coyote?" I said, "Right outside the window." Well, it happened to have rained the night before. And we went outside, and there outside my window were all these paw prints. Big paws and little tiny, tiny paws. And my mom said, "The mama coyote came and saw you." And I said, "Yeah, she's mine."
She was shocked.
Wow.
So then we were in Sedona, Arizona, and we had done a medicine wheel. There were about 45 people, and I told everybody that the coyote is my totem. And we are there, and we're all standing around a medicine wheel, and all of a sudden this mama coyote, obviously mama, still nursing, comes whooping along. And it is noon. Coyotes don't hunt at
Wow.
noon, ever. And so I looked at her, and she looked at me, and I said psychically, "What are you doing here?" And she said, "You have blue cornmeal." I said, "Coyotes don't eat blue cornmeal." And she said, "Ground squirrels do." This little sly coyote. And I said, that's right. And she just kind of looped along and just watched us. She was gonna come back because she knew the grounds girls were gonna get that. Wow. And everybody then in the medicine wheel just stopped and said, "You're talking to her." And I said, "Yes, I am." And she and I were communicating. Well, a woman there said, we were in Boynton Canyon. Boynton Canyon in Sedona is where Spider Woman came out of the hole in the ground. And when Spider Woman came out, she looked around and there were no people. And so she made mankind. And that's...
The red man out of the red dirt. Yeah.
Out of the red dirt. So Spider Woman made man out of the red dirt. And someone said, well, I'd like to see that spider. And out of the middle of the medicine wheel, this deer spider, about this
Oh,
big.
God, it was so big it made a shadow. As it walked, you could, I mean, it was huge.
Oh, my God.
And she walked right over to the woman who'd asked to see her. And she kept walking and walking and walked right up her leg.
I know.
And the woman was like, kind of like, what do you say when you've asked God to give you something you want and it happens, you know? And well, Danny, no, she was kind of thrilled. Danny Carter sings in Gilbert and Sullivan, and she has an operatic voice. And so she's, thank you so much, Spider Woman. Now it's time to go. And she kind of put her down, you know, and everybody's kind of like, you know, and so
Over
we
there,
started.
put it down over
There. So we started talking, and she reached down to get her water bottle, and she brought her water bottle up and went up like this, and Spider Woman was sitting on it looking at her eye to eye, and she hit C above high C with a scream and went,
threw her water bottle.
threw the water bottle, and then she went, oh, Spider Woman, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, I hope you're okay. And another lady said, it's okay, come over here. And that spider turned around and walked over to that woman, and the woman helped her out of the circle. And we all just went,
You're looking for a sign from God?
yeah.
Yeah.
It was just the most amazing thing.
But it was mesmerizing to watch. From a distance.
Courtney's at the hotel going, I'm here, it's all good.
Right?
Tell me about it.
That kind of thing needs to be witnessed up close. Cause that's,
By 45
you
people.
really have
It is. It's
You know,
so
an
magical.
experience.
And so we went home, and, you know, we went back to the hotel. Is that the time they all got drunk at the bar? Yeah, I would.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was. We were
Perfect time to do it.
we were staying at the Bell Rock Inn, and they happened to have a bar, and everybody, yeah, because
Did you see that spider?
because what happened is we left. We were in a big bus. There were 48 people in the big bus that we were leaving, and we went back to the hotel, and all of a sudden we were there having dinner, and these two girls came in and said, "You guys left us."
Whoa.
What? You left us at that last stop. And I said, well, I told you we were going to leave at 1. Well, I didn't think you'd just leave us there.
Well,
and
you pounded the drum and you did the
and
flute.
I said, yeah. And I said, what'd you do? She said, well, we waved. And the people in the back seat waved back.
Oh, my God.
And
It's just like those two girls that were sitting up there.
I said, so what happened? She said, well, these two nice guys from town came by in a pickup and picked us up, and we got dates for tonight.
And you're complaining?
Yeah, and so, but what happened was that then everybody, it was kind of like that kind of day, that it was very, very spiritual, but it was also like, do you believe what just happened?
You kind of got caught in a spider's nest.
Yeah, we kind of got caught, yeah. But that whole energy of the animals that talk to you. How many you hear about girls falling in love with horses? You know, that 14-year-old, you know, wanting a horse.
I'll try and make this short as possible. I always wanted a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Poor little white girl in the projects in San Francisco. Mom, I just want a horse for Christmas, just a horse, you know. And my mom, of course, that was, yeah. So I figured the way to handle this was to start babysitting and earn some money, because we had no money, and I found out they had horses in Golden Gate Park. So I took my little butt across town, found it. Don't even ask me how I did this.
Well, because the horses were calling you. How old were you?
About 8
Uh-huh.
or something.
Taking
No,
a
no,
bus at
I was
8.
babysitting, so I'd have been like 10.
Yeah, you had to be a little
Yeah,
fussy.
But oh yeah, no, we would ride buses all the way to the wharf, and yeah. Anyway, and so I walked into the stables. I want to ride a horse, and they're like, "Have you ridden before?" Well, of course I have.
In my dreams.
Yeah, I didn't. Of course I have. And they're like, "Well, okay. Well, we'll give you the experienced horse." Okay.
Whatever that means.
Okay. Of course. Well, they gave me this horse that just come in from Indian Reservation. His name was Eddie, and he and I were going to learn to either kill each other or love each other. Not sure what it was when all was said and done, because when I go into the stables after that, he just go,
Oh, it's that girl again.
I'm like, yeah, come on, dude. We're going to go. But it was, I really thought, when I look in horses' eyes, they just know me. And dolphins, too. Dolphins, whenever I'm around, they're like looking at me. It's like, okay, hello. But yeah, horses are, I'm drawn to, and I can't stop. I can't even stop myself. I was lying to these people. I know they suited me up. And as soon as we get to this one part of Golden Gate Park where the horses just open up and run, that horse did everything he could to brush me off on trees. I was laying on the side, held hold of his mane, and then they finally stopped him because he wouldn't respond to any commands whatsoever. And I got off that horse and I walked up to him and I went, oh, and I hit him right in the face. And I said, "You are never going to make me fall off. Never." And he's just sitting there going, okay. And it was great after that. But, I don't know why I was so determined. And as soon as they challenged me with this and he was huge, and I was only 10. And so, but I'm like, no, that's what we're going to do. We're going to...
Either it was a past life or it was something that
I don't
really
know,
spoke
but
to you.
It didn't scare me so much that I didn't come back. I went back, and I would get there and say, "Is Eddie available?" And they go, "Nobody likes Eddie. Nobody." Because when you'd say, "Turn this way," he'd go, "Ugh," and he'd slap you. And then you'd say, "Okay," and you go through the creek, and he'd just run across it just enough to get you wet. Okay. All the other horses are like, like this, but he was ornery, and I guess I did love that about him. But nobody asked for Eddie but me.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I was in a senior Girl Scout troop, and in a mounted troop. We used Saratoga.
They have a mounted troop?
Yeah, so we were in
I had no
Saratoga.
idea.
I mean, I wasn't in Saratoga, but that's where our leader was, and she had horses, and then we'd rent horses from Duvenix is something, but from. And we'd do the barrel races and all that kind of stuff.
Oh my
and
God.
then in the summertime, we'd take the horses up over the mountains to Santa
In
Cruz.
Saratoga? Oh, no, over to Santa Cruz?
Yeah, and spend the night
Oh.
out in the woods with the horses.
Yeah, if I'm close, I just go. When I moved to
It
Fremont,
was cool.
there were horses across the street from our mobile home park. It was all stables. All horses and donkeys and stuff.
Now, what is your draw? What is that feeling you have that a horse makes you complete?
I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. But when I'm near them, I have to touch them. I have to look at them. I have
They're
to
strong,
look at
yeah.
them.
What do horses
But,
need?
yeah, I mean, I would just go over all the time, feed them, give them the carrot.
Okay,
my mom's
horse-
like, "Why are you stealing carrots?" Yeah, I'm just running across the street.
Horse is among the strongest of all the animal clans. Just as horse has great physical power, so does horse medicine instill those who invoke and honor him with the ability to tap their own inner power.
Mm-hmm.
Horse has a very wide field of vision because of the way
Yeah.
his eyes
So sad.
are placed in his head, and has excellent eyesight. Power. Personal power resulting in freedom, stability, courage, stamina, mobility, and joy. We can invoke horse to widen our vision and increase our physical powers.
That's why it's
I need horse
horse
now.
has the gift of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be a great time
if
to
that's-
invoke
And anytime you're feeling less than, get a horse. Get a, the only little horse I have here is Eeyore, and he's
Well, that's more of
donkey.
a.
Yeah, but yeah, I know Eeyore.
He's a sad little buddy.
You've got, but find that something that represents that. For me, I have coyotes all over the place, but I really that's part of my plan, and that's the one that. And so start looking at
surprised.
how you feel. Yeah, like a coyote is a trickster, but start looking at what talks to you. Now, if I had a horse, I lived on a ranch, and I had a horse. I want a bicycle.
Oh, wow.
Because that horse had the ability to shiver me off, because I never used a saddle.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
I'd be out as far away as I could get, and he'd just do this thing where he would go shiver, 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 and then I'd just fall off the back, and he'd snicker and walk away.
Oh, because you were
And then
back.
we walk home.
Yeah. Then I had to catch him, and then walk back home, because I was this fat little kid with short legs. I couldn't get back on the horse.
Yeah, I had that problem
That
with.
would be me too.
Yeah. And so everybody, I wish. And so when I got into town, everybody wanted a horse. And I finally got a bicycle and did what I told it to do.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
King did not
I had
do
like a
it.
Shetland pony
No,
who
I
was.
always just thought I would have
big
a
around.
friend as a horse, and
Yeah.
that's as close as I could get. And,
Yeah, you
and I was
need
only
power.
able to do it a few times, but
Gift of power. That's what.
That's what horses are. Anybody
That's
else?
what-
You have kitty cats that you.
Oh yeah, they're like my best friends. And even going back to the horse, I go into the Republic building on the Alameda and I see Dr. David, anyway, and there's a picture of two horses. And I'll tell you, I can't even look at them because they just touch the male-female aspect of sensuality when I look at this picture. It is just so, I could just pick up the feelings. But with the cats, I can talk to them and they're there and I just look at them and they understand, they talk to me, in their meows and stuff, and it's...
Yeah. Oh yeah. When I was growing up, my cat was my best friend. Yeah, we
Anybody
climbed
have a
trees
dog
together.
that was their best friend? Anybody have a dog?
Oh, she
Yeah.
had a dog.
Yeah. And what breed?
Oh, my last one was pork collie, pork chow.
oh my gosh,
Oh,
I didn't know.
interesting.
Yes, she was aggressive, and I think she was supposed to be a gift for my son who was 12 at that time. Of course, she slept under my bed, played with my lipstick, and she became like
She was a
my
girl.
child. I made decisions based on the fact that some people say, "Oh, well, you can get a house over here, but you can't get rid of the dog." I'm like, why don't you get rid of one of your kids?
That's an interesting crossbreed. How did it do?
She
temperament.
was beautiful, just absolutely gorgeous, but she did have some aggression, and I appreciated that because being kind of like I knew when someone came, and by the time I kind of settled into her and she kind of settled into me, I realized that she was so connected to me, and I could read other people kind of through her. Okay, there were times that we could walk past the person, and I did train her with kind of one-word commands. I'm like, okay, no barking, no barking, and we might get past the person. But sometimes when we were passing a person, and I was on Galveston Island on Seawall, and I noticed that if a person was a little bit maybe too inebriated or had a little too much aggression, she would get on that side of me to be between me and that person. And although I would say no barking, she would growl and let that person know, don't play. Okay, and so everybody that knew me knew that I had a dog. When I lived in an apartment, one day I had taken her with me, and the landlady was trying to call me, and she says, "Ms. McCrae, where's your dog?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's with me. If you guys need to get into the apartment, she's with me, so it's okay." Because nobody came into my apartment, got near my car or anything. If they would get close to my car, she'd be like, and they were like, "Gosh, there's a crazy dog." I'm like, she don't play. And I'd never seen her to no obedience school, no nothing. When I took her to the vet, and she says, "How's the growler's social skills?" I'm like, she's still a dog. She don't play. And I left her like that. She
Growler was her
she,
name?
Growlith, Growlith.
Oh, Growlith.
Yeah.
Thou Growlith,
And
yes.
so she was pretty amazing. And we kind of fell into each other's groove. And so then some people said, "Oh, she's got your personality." So that was during that
I would
time
take that.
of my life.
I
That was
haven't heard you
during.
growl yet, though. I have to say.
Oh, but I do growl.
I believe you.
I still do because
But
when
see,
I'm,
that
when I'm doing
became you
something
became
and I
part
try
of
to
the
do a
same
thing,
tribe.
yeah.
That was, and when they talk about totem animals, that's
Yeah.
you become part of that same tribe.
Right. She
And
understood
there's
me.
so
I
many,
understood
there
her.
are so many,
Right.
and I have friends who had birds. Well, like Dr.
Jay.
Jalushichi, he has a
my
parrot.
gosh.
I mean, there's people that I know that have these wonderful, wonderful connections with birds and with different animals. And have you? What is that little one that's so cute and it sounds like a locomotive?
Oh, a hedgehog.
Have you ever seen a hedgehog? They
I
are
always wanted a
so
hedgehog.
cute. A friend of mine has a hedgehog,
They're
and then
so
and ferrets. I mean, they're against the law in
Oh,
California.
my gosh.
Ferrets are crazy. They're
They
so
are
much
crazy.
fun.
Yeah, they're crazy.
And but there's so many different animals that you can get that feeling like you're part of their tribe. You're part of who they are,
My guinea pigs
what they're
were always
doing.
like that.
And one of the things that in all of the little animals here, and I got this little sheep, and I think that's so.
With your big eyes.
Big eyes.
Isn't that a cute little sheep? And I had sheep that were real cute little friends of mine, and that was neat.
You
And
didn't
I
ever
had-
name them, did you?
No, they wouldn't let me. But I did name a little calf Bambi, and
Oh,
yeah, I know.
what happened to Bambi?
My Bambi left, and then we got meat in the house, and
Easter dinner.
and so I said to my dad, I said, "You didn't take Bambi to have Bambi slaughtered." He said, "Oh no." He said, "I went to the ice house, and there was another guy there that had a calf, and so we exchanged. So
I love your dad.
that's not Bambi you're eating there." Okay.
I love
I
your
believe
dad.
that. I believe that for years, so
You did well.
yeah,
You
that
did well.
was great. So there was things like that when you're on a ranch, you kind of have to go along with, But as she says, didn't name it today, But we had chickens and rabbits, and all
Chickens, you mean? Yeah.
so
You can eat those.
yeah, but and just I want you to think about that. One of the things Luann was saying about dolphins, I can call dolphins, and we were in Cabo San Lucas, and we went out on a catamaran, and it was one of those booze cruises you get free if you listen to somebody give you a spiel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not into drinking, but I'd like to see some whales. And or he said, well, call them in. I said, okay. So I said out there, okay, I want some whales to come. Okay. All of a sudden, these two whales start coming.
Wow.
And they kept coming. And they kept coming. And they
Good
kept
thing you weren't in
coming.
a kayak.
And one of them went underneath the catamaran that we were
Oh
on.
my
And
God.
everybody's going, my God, there's whales. And Corky goes, yeah.
And everybody went over to the side, and the ship was starting to.
The catamaran started
And then they ran over the other side, and then.
the whale went
What
underneath.
kind of whale?
Black and white one. What are those?
Oh, killer.
Orcas.
But the dolphins in Santa Cruz, every time for Thanksgiving, that we have Thanksgiving
You said
at
they're
the
always
beach,
out there.
there's always dolphins.
They were just traveling through a little over a week ago.
Now, how does it make you feel when you see a dolphin?
Oh, I love it. It's a
Isn't
good-
that
it's a
incredible?
good,
It's
good
like a
medicine, I
gift.
call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Good medicine.
What do they call dolphins? Sacred breath of life.
So, what is it when an animal kind of comes into your life? Because, like, my actual first pet that I remember and had the closest connection to for the longest time was a turtle. And it was a turtle about that big. So, like, about 6 months before I moved to California, I was helping my friend move into another apartment, and I came across this little turtle that was about that big. And I picked it up, and she says, well, you know, you're about to leave, and turtles are world travelers, and they've got a map on their back and all this kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so I decided to keep the turtle, so I kept the turtle. And then just about a month before I was going to be leaving, her grandson, we were helping her move something, and her grandson came and says, Mama Glo, look what I got. And it was another little turtle. And about the same size. And so I knew I was leaving, and I had asked my grandson, Tristan, to take care of my first turtle, and he had taken very good care of it. And I said, so guess what I got? I got another turtle. I said, will you take care of 2 turtles for me? And he said, yes. When I go home, the turtles are like, they're as big as his hand now.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's still taking care of them. And I think that's pretty significant. Oh, and my nickname when I was like a teenager, when I moved in with my natural mother, was Turtle. So Turtle is something.
Yeah.
It's around you.
That's around you. That's part
It's
of your tribe. Yeah.
significant.
That is great. And they on the list of Native American totem animals and the turtle, they call Great Mother because they live
You
so
don't
long.
have any of that energy around you at all, you know.
Yeah, but turtles live for so long.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
They live like the giant tortoises live for 150 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Isn't that
They're
great?
long living.
Okay, Judy, do you have any animal that you kind of identify with?
No, not really. The manatee at that one particular time was something that has always stayed with me. When I was a very little girl, I got into a lot of trouble one day because I was building a home for ants.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah, I was out in the backyard and it was just dust. I mean, it was, silty dirt. And my mother had put me in a white bubble swimsuit.
Why?
Go figure. But I just remember getting into a lot of trouble.
Did you read what it says about ants?
I was starting to, yeah.
Oh my.
Ants are really
Tireless.
good medicine.
Yeah,
Patient worker
patient
who
workers.
operates with her tribe in
And
perfect
crunchy.
unity. She's a steward, a farmer, and a herder. Some ants grow a fungus that they harvest, store, and eat. Some ants herd an insect that they bring out during the day to feed, bring inside the anthill at night and milk for its sugary liquid. Group mind, patience, action. Ant teaches us patience, the ability to work hard and harmonious with others, and the wisdom to plan carefully.
Wow.
Well, I'm kind of the antithesis of the ant.
And that's probably why you really liked it. Because it gave you something to look forward to look at.
Well, it gave me lessons to learn, that's for sure.
Yeah.
for me, it was the salamanders. In
Oh,
San
I
Francisco,
used to like
at
the
the
little
projects, they had
bluebellies.
cement walls, and all these walls had holes in them. Salamanders would live in there.
Yeah, but we had
I'd go out
bluebell
there and collect
lizards around the
salamanders.
house. They call
Lizards
them-
are
we call them
great.
bluebells.
Great.
Yeah.
Huh?
We call them bluebellies. I don't know if they were
Oh, the
salamanders.
lizards?
The lizards, the
Yeah.
bluebell lizards.
So what is your favorite animal?
Well, upon meditation, I pop up an awful lot with the Brontosaurus, which is in very, very, very few books. I found what the spirit animal is supposed to evoke, and it fits me. You stay emotionally calm in deep, still waters. Slowness of emotions, basically, and in meditation, we kind of either I upsize to his size or he downsizes to my size. But he's almost, big and cuddly, and we play in mud together.
How fun!
The other
Pretty wild.
Mud
I've
wrestling.
never heard of someone taking that on, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, that one comes to me most, but then I don't know which one comes to me when I need them to come to me, and which one is my spirit animal. The other three that come to me is the stingray, which is not too many books either. And why that comes to me, I don't know. I used to be a fisherman, and I used to hate when I captured those things. I would cut them and I'd throw them back in the water. I mean, I was torturing them. Seriously. So I don't know whether, it's a bad omen for me.
Well, quite often dinosaurs are also thought of as dragons.
Yeah, dragons the other one. And
And
the bat.
so that to me is so is so great because dragon is protection, existence between thoughts, ability to move between worlds, fiery, knows the answer to many riddles, longevity, wisdom, and power.
Wow.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good animal to have as a spirit
The
guide.
brontosaurus comes much more than the dragon does.
Really? Yeah.
And actually, it's the brontosaurus first, and then that stingray comes in, and then the dragon, and then the bat. And I don't know what is which, but it seems like the brontosaurus comes in the most.
Well, and the bat, there's so many people who are scared of bats, and to me, they're just the most beautiful little beings.
Yeah, I love
And they are
so
so
cute.
New
intelligent.
life.
They eat mosquitoes.
Yep. And,
I think they're adorable.
Okay, it does
and
have
here
the
it
bat.
says, bat sleeps during the day and hunts for food at night. Instead of seeing with her eyes, bat hears her way around by sonar echolocation. Guardian of the night and cleaner of negativity, teaches to replace fear and any pattern which no longer fits in with our pattern of growth. Tribal peoples also invoke bat medicine powers for rebirth and initiation. That's a great one to have. Yeah, you've got some real wonderful ones that usually people aren't looking at as much as others.
Figures, especially the brontosaurus, because I've only found, I think, 2 books that actually have anything about brontosaurus.
As a totem, you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a totem animal.
Has
Yeah.
this, my main spirit animal. I think that's my main spirit animal because that's what comes to me the most.
And one of the things that we have are some wonderful, wonderful medicine cards. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to shut out the lights and I'm going to do a guided meditation and then I'm going to pass
Lynn
it.
Andrews.
What?
Lynn Andrews.
I don't think these are hers, but no, this is
She has-
Jamie Sams, but Lynn
Oh.
Andrews has some like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Michael, could you plug in a light
Sure.
over there, please, that goes across?
Sure.
Thank you.
And then you saw?
Yeah, but you might want the light so you can see to plug that in.
Oh, yeah.
What are you plugging in?
Well, the light that go across
The
there.
string lights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's over here. There's that part of it.
So I think it's just the extension cord.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Does anyone want to take a bio break before we go into meditation?